What's going on, good people? Before we dive into the episode, we got to talk about what's coming up. We get into success and insecurities. A lot of times they go hand in hand. We're going to talk about that more money, more problem situation and how do we combat that? What are some things that we should be doing independently and collectively, right, to kind of put that down and get into some places where we could be emotionally healthy individually and as a couple. So we're going to dive into that here. Let's get into the episode.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Summon Up with the Summoners. It's Katoya and
Damon
here for another round of good combo. Welcome to our couch in our living room. That's pretty much what that's how it all started.
That's how it started.
We just wanted to transition from the table to the couch and have some good combo. And that's what we're going to have today. So thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Today we're getting into success and insecurity in your relationship. Is it connected? Does it have to be? What are we going to do about it?
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm ready to dive in.
Let's dive in. I did briefly say it, but thank you all so much. Thank you. Keep the reviews coming. If you have not given us a review, we were, as all places prefer, 5 stars, so if you have any feedback, message us. We appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely.
That's how that goes.
But more than anything, thanks again for listening. So the way that this started, this kind of general topic, started because on the interwebs, on the internet, on the social media, there was a podcast that posted a clip of their podcast. It is a male podcast that talks about, I think they said, wealth, women, and something else. It was like 3 W's. Wellness. Wins. I have no idea. Seems like it was the type of podcast that would say wins, women, and wealth. Anyway, this sounds like sex.
What's the name of it? The highly...
I don't know.
Initiated?
I don't even know if I want to give that much effort to
initiated.
But it popped up on the Shade Room, so on and so forth. And so the title said this: Man says high-earning women are less attractive. Who wants you after you've achieved these things? And it, of course, sent the comments ablaze because the topic alone was already captivating. But then as you listen to the clip, 30 seconds, I definitely say listen to it to get a perspective on this man's point of view. Now, I've asked many men since. I've asked, had friends who've asked friends, and he seems to be more of an anomaly. But we needed to know. So the question that this gives, as you dive deep into it, what do you immediately think when you hear this comment?
Foolishness. I mean, as simple as that. As simple as that. If this is a homie, that's off top. That's the thought behind I hear it first. It doesn't even make any sense to me. Just on the short answer to your question. Yeah.
If we were simple and solution is, hey, my girl making more than me, I don't wanna.
Okay.
Essentially, that's what the simple solutions would say.
Hey, girl I'm dating, she just lost 60 pounds. Yeah, I don't need that in my life.
Yeah, she too small for me now.
Oh.
We were big together. Huh. That's a real one though. That is a really good one too, because that is true. You could be like, you get big together, somebody gets super fine, and now it's like, ooh, right? But these are big things. These are things that we have to worry about in our relationship and everything. But when I heard this really made me think about, man, how insecure one could be to be so intimidated by one success, especially a woman. Especially, we're going to bring this up in March.
Women's History
Women's History Month.
Come on now,
you
man.
You sound like you don't know where you trying to be.
Read the room.
And first of all, you just intimidated because you have none of this to be proud of for yourself. Because the way it started was she has everything and then she just still wants a man. And it's like, well, what can I do for you? Essentially, was almost like his perspective, but. You know, I tied this so into, we thought about it, and tied this into value, right? Like, there was, like, when I heard this, I just thought, man, this man has a lack of successful, mutually benefiting relationships. Like, when you feel like you only have to be able to provide or give, in what capacity, I don't know, that you felt like this was already filled. And then sadly, I do feel that many men have poor emotional maturity. And so all of that encompassed in this like perspective that a successful woman is no longer desirable.
A lot of meat on that bone. A lot of meat on that bone. 25 minutes. Yeah, I mean, up top, you know, I mean, this was something that when you have an incorrect mindset about, I think, what marriage is, what do you bring to the table, what you offer, what do you take pride in. There's so many elements, such a layered kind of mindset to have. You know, it was the also idea of like, all right, well, this woman potentially wants me to be the cherry on top. I'm not good with that, right? She acquired this, she got this, she got this. Well, maybe that cherry on top is one of the most important things that she's desiring, because there's a huge hole that's lacking, hypothetically here, right? And you got to know your role. Your role is to go be the best cherry on top you could be. You might be the whipped cream another day. You might be the whole ice cream cone at the bottom.
You might be sprinkled.
You don't know what you might. You might be the cup, big dog. But whatever it is, play that role well. And
it's still needed.
And even we're recording this in 2022, the past 2 years alone, in the midst of a pandemic on the whole globe, you would hope that people would continue to reassess what they find valuable in life, who they find valuable in life, right? And also the roles that we're willing to put ourselves in to take value in that. Some of you lost your jobs, had to move in with parents or friends. Some of you probably had a spouse or a boo who had a great job, lost that job. Somebody was staying home, flipped. Now you back working. And the roles have to change, and we have to find value in that. And so, you know, this statement was a really, it was really a slap in the face, one, to women, just about also this belittling of like what access to just liberties women can have. Hey, I know you're trying to get your game up, boo. I know you're trying to break glass ceilings. Only so much. You're only going to be seen valuable or attractive or unintimidating if you only go so far. I see you though. I see you, but also don't. So
it just means that you're not.
And we're gonna drop it just to give context. We're gonna drop this clip in the show notes. So if you're like, let me pause the episode, hit the link in the show notes just to get it a context a little bit, and then come back to it if you haven't, because it's a really just to give you context of what's happening here.
Yeah, I think like more than anything, I employ with single women in this because I'm just like, one, boo, do you always and forever.
Always and forever.
And the man that will value you is the man who's worth that time. This man is not worth anyone's time. Yeah, like that. You're out of his league, right? We've talked about dating up and things like that. You're out of his league, right? And if that's not what was echoed very clearly, that's what was echoed to me. But when I think about this, I think about how does this look like in our actual relationships? Because this was a single man talking about a woman who, you know, is interested in, you know, finding someone. What does it look like when we are already in a relationship and we see either the role reversal, where maybe the woman makes more money, or success acquired within the relationship? And so there's a perspective to be had here. And like, what are some of the viewpoints on success in marriage that you think are like relevant?
I mean, I just think like, I mean, for us, like in general, you know, we've been together for gonna be 17 years. And the roles of you've by golly, you've at times have made more than me and vice versa. You've worked more than me and vice versa because of whatever is happening in this world. Oh, he's out of a job. Like, so there's this level of if you winning, we winning. You know what I mean? Like, and that's, put that on a shirt. If you winning, we win it because there is a pride and an excitement that we are a team. We are one. We are united. So if you come up, we come up, right? If Katoya gets 7 digits tomorrow, I'm hype. Like, I'm not, let me tell you, I'm hype. I'm not finna be like, dang, but yeah, fam, yeah, she blowing me out the water, big dog. I know, I don't know what I'm gonna do. You think I should tell her not take it? That's not happening.
Dear Heavenly Father, we pray these
today,
things.
right now, Father. Are you crazy?
Yes.
If somebody's winning in the relationship, you're both winning in the relationship.
Yes, and that is the perspective that we should hold in our relationships, right? Like, you win, we win, because it's our game, it's our thing, it's us, it's our, and like, you have a family, it's our family's game, you know? And so that's a pro perspective 100%, and I hold that dearly, right? And I'm like, no, like, that's it. Like, that's all we trying to do together is win. You win, we all win.
We all winning.
And a beautiful, I remember, like.
But he felt like he was losing. Just to go back to it for just a second. He felt like he was in a deficit. He felt like he was defeated in a loss.
That's because he has no capital, okay? He has no good understanding. He has no toil in a relationship that has been successful.
Yeah.
He has no partner for life, right? Like, I mean, I have no idea because I didn't listen to the full podcast, and maybe he was in a relationship. I have no idea, but it didn't seem like it. That type of perspective does not seem like it to me, because good intentions for your partner is key. In whatever they desire. You want someone who don't got no ambition? You want someone who got to need you in what way? Because we can offer so much in a relationship. And it's not just you being like the breadwinner, right, or you bringing in the most money, or, oh, she's a doctor. Like, what? Yeah.
There's this, it's not intimidating, it's motivating.
Yes.
When you see your boo turning up,
you like, God, yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
You hype for them and you motivated for yourself.
It's not intimidation, it's motivation.
And so
maybe your role is to support your partner. Maybe you got strong bookkeeping. Maybe you can do this. Like, supporting a vision collectively is a win when you know you winning together.
What you know about Kelly Rowland's husband?
Nothing.
What you know about Issa Rae's husband?
I 100% nothing about Issa Rae's
right,
husband.
but we could go through the list on and on about successful, powerful.
And not to say that those men are not, because I don't know much about it. I think Kelly's man is like a producer of some sort. But we know them more.
Yes.
And
I'm just giving examples.
No, I love them because I'm thinking like, but they add value to those women's lives in ways.
And vice versa.
Yes. Okay, we're getting into the good part. So that is the pro. Wait, there's one more pro.
I'll get in there. You had a couple.
Oh, you said not intimate. Okay, so one example I was gonna give was Tabitha Brown. So Tabitha Brown, hello everybody. Like, I can't think of her name.
That's your business.
The Beacon, and that's my business. She probably moved on from that because Tabitha's going.
She a lot actress, author, speaker.
She got like a restaurant now.
Yeah.
Tab's goals, right? So Tab's been married for a long time with her husband, and they, Chance is his name. Oh, is Chance her daughter?
I think Chance is her husband.
Choice.
It's the husband. We'll get to
I think
it.
so.
Mr. Brown.
Tab and her husband, he's like worked in the police force for a while.
long time.
But as she was glowing up, he was like not want to do that no more and had a whole nother passion. But he had been holding work down while she was pursuing so many avenues.
Yeah.
And then she was like, yeah, let that go. Like you go work on whatever it is you got a passion to do because I got us. I got goosebumps over my body from that because that's the beauty of a relationship and a real partnership. And unfortunately, dear and ill, Wendy Williams tried to comfort Tab.
Wendy Williams.
And Tab played blessings over Wendy Williams at that moment. This was a little last year at some point. But that's what you see as beautiful, where you see this exchange of roles and you see this support and passions and dreams. Because how many lives how many lives do we get to live?
Yeah.
We live one, right?
time.
Now, I'm watching the Wheel of Time. I get it. We can weave back through whatever you want. But at the end of the day, you got one life. You get to live it. You might as well do it doing something you enjoy and do it with somebody who's ready to ride with you. So that's a beautiful perspective of how it should look, where you can rotate out in that. So I think that's just great that Tab gave us that insight into her world, and because that's big comparison to this dude being intimidated by one's success. But that's what it can look like in our relationships. So those are the pros, right? But then we got the cons to this perspective of success. Like, instead of it being motivated, now it's competitive, right? I mean, I am in no competition with David. Now, I will say when we both get on the same wavelength to try to like eat better, do better, and then he lose like 10 pounds on me, I'll be like, God, dog. But that only motivates me. It is slightly competitive, but I'm like, no, he ain't. Like when he put his mind and stuff, I'm like, I better get on it because I'm gonna be failing behind. But it's motivating. That's lighthearted. But even in the same line, this should all be motivating. But unfortunately, when it becomes competitive, it is now a con. You're not in a competition with your partner if you hold the right perspective of winning together.
You know, it's really tough as humans because we wrestle with insecurities all the time, and success is other people's successes, and our potential lack of success is like an incubator for insecurity. Like when you look left and when you look right and you see your peers or strangers, what's crazy is like you'll see peers getting stuff you want, but you'll also see peers and strangers getting stuff you have no desire for, and it still leads to insecurities. That's the unfortunate part about social media. There's so many positives, but the other side, you can just flip for 2 minutes before you go to sleep, and just be like, man, I ain't never been on a yacht. Man, I've never been to Europe. You know what I'm saying? And just simple thing. Oh, I don't have a new car. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, ride your 1999 Dodge Neon, big dog, and chill. And so when we're talking about this bring of insecurity and being in a relationship, from weight to money to maybe they're growing spiritually to maybe they've got reconnected in relationships to maybe they're got two hobbies and they don't have as much free time just to hang and do chill nothing with you. Whatever it is, whenever somebody's winning, it is as humans challenging to make sure, and we talk about this a few times before, like if and when we look left and right, it does not lead to envy and jealousy and bitterness. You got to fight to make sure it leads to motivation, encouragement, and sharing and celebrating success of others. Especially when I'm in a relationship. When Katoya April, popping. You know what I'm saying? Katoya gonna be out here in April.
It ain't.
And
this is very leisurely.
What I'm not gonna be is I'm not gonna be at the house. Woe is me. Know that. I'm gonna be in the bed. Guess what I'm gonna be doing on that bed?
His favorite. Sending emails.
But it's motivating. It's like, oh, get it, boo. Get it. You know what I'm saying? And so, but that is, it does come, and I would assume all people should be at a certain threshold of emotional security here, but that's just not life. We know that. So I think that's one of the biggest struggles is this incubator of seeing other successes that as human beings, we struggle with the insecurities because we got our own.
Yeah, it's true. So, and then the next one I think is like a con of kind of this like, how can success breed insecurity in your relationship? One, you can make it competitive. Mm-hmm. Two, the lack of support. Ooh. Okay? There's this like, wave of this like branding that support is a verb, and it is true, right? It's an action that you need to do in order to support. And when you don't have the support at home for your passion,
goals,
your goal,
right, whatever,
it can be detrimental to your relationship because now someone else is feeding into that dream, whatever. Now support looks different, right? Like my support is not buying his merch. My support is not financially doing anything. My support is making sure that he can explore and do what he wants to do and, pursue these avenues and allow for savings to be developed. Like that's the support that you need in a relationship. It doesn't look like the support from people not in your family, right? But you it is imperative in our relationships that as our partner is exploring new goals, passions, and ideas, that we give them that support. Because without the support, then it can definitely lead to insecurity.
Yeah, if you feel insecure and you ain't getting the support, like more times than not, you're probably gonna lean towards like, woe is me, maybe I can't. You know what I mean? And then maybe the minority who's like, I don't need nobody. You know what I'm saying? But that you run through a big brick wall. But like a lot of times that support adds the fuel to the fire, especially when things are low. Because we want our partners, we want our babes and boos and spouses and everybody to be our number one. That's what we want. We want that. You come home from a hard day work and you finna turn on that entrepreneur hat.
Groupie, baby.
You know what I'm saying? Like you really talk to him. What's the probably greatest album of his? And so you want that. And there's an element of just when you don't have it, it feels draining. It feels like you're deflating. That's the word I want to find here. And so it can lead to a lot of insecurities as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, even when you say deflating, as one can't, like, so, and then also I think, well, with the lack of support, let's say you actually do blow up. Like, these are, like, I don't know where this falls in the line of, money is a top reason for divorce.
Yep.
But also when someone gets successful and they get that power, and then you're like, man, I've been riding with you and investing with you, and then you left me, so on. So what it may be. Yep. It is a risk, right? Anything we do is a risk. But when you are becoming successful, it's important to not belittle your partner and make something condescending, right? So never just because you on your rise do you look and be like, well, what you gonna do? Well, where you at? That also is going to cause like
I lost 30 pounds. You need to use your 30 pounds.
Like, whoa.
First off, you need to lose 60. So settle down. Okay.
And I'm very happy for your success, but that don't give you the right to come at me, right? So that's another way that this can, like, again, cause insecurity or rifts or strains in your relationship if it becomes if the success breeds these cons.
Yeah. That emotional maturity is really a lot of times not talked about enough because so much you think about your spats, think about the last spat you had, last bit of conflict, right? Those emotions are there. The emotions are usually not the tip of the iceberg. It's all underneath the ocean. There's so much going on. There's anger, right? There's resentment. There's frustrations that were unresolved. So when you talk about emotional security, emotional health, right, between you and your partner, there's a level of health that has to be there already. Because when success comes, and again, we're not only talking about career success. We're not only talking about, just money success. Those are just two pieces of the puzzle. You know what I mean? Like, you can just be successful with your friendships, and your friendships are just thriving, and they're failing to make time for you, or whatever. There's a lot. I want to be clear on that. I think it's important for us to be clear on that. But all that to be said, when you're talking about, if you're going to be condescending to your partner, then you're not emotionally healthy.
Yeah. Or whatever success that you are having is causing too much of some arrogance or some type of, power in you that is ill-placed, right?
Yeah, I think just like with comedy, like, when I was able to go full-time with comedy in 2018, it was a huge step of faith and trust and support with Katoya, toiling through this right decision or not.
That was amazing.
And for those 2 years, we got through it somehow. We made it through.
And I was like, all right, and just show me a little bit on paper.
You know what I mean? And so that took emotional health and emotional wealth between us, And so I wasn't feeling, if I was gone, I didn't come back and feeling like I was on top of the world and come back condescending. Because why? I was able to do that because of her support. I was able to do that because I was motivated to try to take care of my family. And these things are important when we're talking about thriving, healthy relationships, which is one reason why we started this podcast, to take us from the table to the couch, to talk about real things that real couples have to wrestle with. You know what I mean? And one of them is dealing with insecurities and with success. And so I don't know. I'm really encouraged that hopefully this is springboarding some other important conversations for us, for you listening to this, because it's really, yeah, I just don't think it's talked about enough. Like, it's definitely not talked about as often as the other big things: money, right? Sex, parenting, just kind of the big career goals, But we say, hey man, how's your emotional health going? What? What you? Yeah, how you emotionally? How you and
Yeah.
how y'all connected emotionally?
It's emotionally, and then it's like the maturity to accept and to discuss. Like there's a level of like having the ability to like process, right? Like to mentally and emotionally be available for where someone is trying to express themselves.
Yeah.
And not from your perspective, your understanding, but solely for them to be heard.
Yeah.
And then for you to like process together. Like that's beautiful.
Definitely.
And so I feel like so much of what, we started out with the outlandish statement has so much to do with emotional immaturity. And so the health of who, like, our understanding that. But I do think that in our relationships, we have a responsibility, and like there are ways that we can affirm our spouse in just their value, right? Because I do think that when success is brewing, or when someone is toiling at their dream or their passion, like, and we need to make sure that we are affirming each other, and like our value to each other and what we bring to a relationship. Because when I think of these cons, it's competitive. Well, why is it competitive? Like, what are you thinking? Like, there's something unstable in this relationship to you that's making it competitive. That's now, I don't feel like I should support you in this. Why can't you support me? Like, what is the problem? Or, why is this making you feel some type of way? Like, success should not be intimidating in a relationship, period. It should be everything that we said in those pros.
Encouraging, motivating.
Yeah, it should be encouraging, motivating.
Yeah.
But I feel like if someone is successful, if you are the successful person or vice versa, it doesn't matter, because your value that you bring to the relationship should just be evident.
Yeah.
And if it's not, I think in our relationships, we need to do a better job at affirming the value that our partner brings to our relationship. So, like, affirming, man, I love it when you do. I love how much you encourage me. Man, like, wow. That if I never knew I needed this support. You are so supportive, and I value that. Like, say the things that makes them a non-negotiable person in your life, right? Like, this is the value that you bring to me and in this relationship and in this family. Like, this is irreplaceable to me. That lets someone know their role, like, even in the middle of the success, even in the middle of whatever it might be. Like, know who you are to me.
Yeah.
And not just I love you, but like, no, like, man, I just love how you, like, you prepare this dinner so well.
Yeah.
And you keep us, like, food on our table. Like, man, thank you. Like those are like simple things, but it's grounding for someone who may be feeling insecure, right? Or feeling less than, or whatever it might be, right?
Yeah, no, that's all good. And I think there's also an element too of, like, we also have to do our own work individually. Like, we also need to know our own value, our own worth for ourselves, as well as our own value, our own worth we bring in our relationship.
Yeah.
Like, I take pride in the things I bring to this marriage. I take pride in that. It brings me joy to know what I bring as a husband and as a father. You know what I mean? And so that's right there is my own work I have to do emotionally, internally. So then when I come out and I pour out, it comes from a healthy place. And so, there's this element of the other person, but we would be remiss if we didn't think there was our own individual work as well that we constantly have to do. And that's going to look a lot of different ways. For, some people that's meditation, for some people that's therapy, having strong friends to dialogue and vent and process through, it's setting up specific times of the day, as times of the week, to talk with your partner, like all those different ways and steps. Maybe it's that long walk before you come into the house, you get your mind together. Whatever those steps are to continue to affirm, uplift, and encourage yourself and remind yourself of your own value. That's also an important work that has to be done too.
100%.
Has to.
And then, like, one thing would just be like, if you're in a relationship, you're committed to each other, if you're in a marriage or whatever, you are showing commitment. You're showing that you have woken up each day to choose this person. So assume good intentions.
Assume those good intentions.
If there's no reason to have doubt or question, like, assume good intent. And then know that this relationship can, like, come back to something. Is if you're grounded in something that's like, if you're sticking to it with each other. So.
Success and insecurities. It's real. It's real. And hopefully the more success, the less insecurities come. But we know, as humans,
more money, more problems.
More money, more problems. The great poet Puff Daddy and Notorious B.I.G. eloquently said. But we thank y'all so much. We hope that great conversations, great dialogue can come of this episode and so many others here, because we appreciate y'all rocking with us every week so much. So where can they find us?
Find us at Sum It Up Sumners on Instagram. That is our number one kind of place of chatting and dialogue. So yeah, look us up on IG. Damon's been reeling it out. Real king over here. He's a real king. The real one. The realest. Real king up in here. So just, yeah, like, we want to know that you're listening. So let us know that you're listening. Whether that's shoot a text, shoot a message, share it with your friends. Like, share, comment. We appreciate y'all. We'll chat with you next week. So I don't really love to cook as the primary cook in this family. However, what I do like is to jazz up the meals when I do cook, right? I'm looking for spices, seasonings, dry rubs, and I found a good place. It is Artisan Dry Goods made by beautiful Briny C. So a little bit of everything to spice up, jazz up your meal. It is a local store right here in Atlanta, but ready to ship out to you all over the world.
Absolutely. And they're legit. I'm going to be honest with you here. Forbes, The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and Oprah's magazine. And you know Oprah only going to promote the good stuff, all right? So check them out. Instagram, beautiful Briny C. Make your kitchen better. All right, I'm talking about real good ingredients, urban gardens, local farms, so it's good for your taste buds, good for your body. Check them out.